everyone, welcome to day 21 of the holiday card series for 2013. I'm starting out by scoring my card base here. This is dark chocolate cardstock from Simon Says Stamp, just making a top folding card. And I'm going to be doing a little bit of stenciling today, some masking and stenciling. So first I'm taking this 2-inch wide masking tape. It's from Post-it. It's kind of like a big Post-it note, but the stickiness is all over the tape. It's kind of really cool. So I'm taping this down onto some scratch paper, and I'm going to be using some masking paper as well. This masking paper is cut to 3 3/4 wide by 4 3/4 tall, and I'm just placing that in the center of the card. And then I'm going to be doing some embossing later on. So after I have the masking paper on, I'm going to go ahead and use my Embossing Magic powder bag. And that's just going to apply some powder along those edges around that border that's exposed. And then I'll be placing this Diagonal Stripes stencil from Simon Says Stamp and putting that right over the top. I'm going to hold that stencil down with some Post-it tape. This is kind of like that really wide Post-it tape that I just used, but it's green and it's only 1 inch wide. So I'm just taping that stencil down so it doesn't move around while I work. And I'm taking my Versamark ink and I'm going to be kind of dabbing it on right over that stencil and just mainly focusing on the border. What I want is a diagonal striped embossed border on the front of this card. So that's why I masked off the center and why I'm just dabbing along the edges. And I can even kind of lift up the stencil and see where it needs a little more ink, like that top right corner. Dab that on. And then I can start kind of peeling all the masking paper off and things like that. So I thought I was going to take this tape off right now, or I was going to wrap it around, but then I decided I would go ahead and leave it on for a minute here while I apply some embossing powder. This is some gold embossing powder from Ranger. And I'm not peeling off that center mask quite yet because I know that it's going to leave a little bit of sticky residue behind, and I don't want any of the embossing powder sticking to that area. So before I heat set it, I'm going to go ahead and peel off that masking paper. And I've sort of just learned from trial and error and things I've done in the past that I can't peel this off until after I've applied the embossing powder. So I'll just peel that off. It does waste a little bit of embossing powder that's on the mask, but let's face it, there's a ton of powder in these embossing powder containers. I don't think I've ever had to replace any gold embossing powder. I've had this for years and I keep using it and it never seems to go down in the bottle. I have a ton of it. So I'm just peeling off all that masking, and I'll use that background paper, that scratch paper, as a funnel and just funnel that gold embossing powder right back into the container. And that's why it never runs out, because you can always put the excess back into the container. So it's pretty easy. So I'm using my heat tool and just heat setting all around the card front here. And then I'm going to start working on a snowflake for the main area of the card. I'm going to be using the Eliza Snowflake die from Simon Says Stamp. This is one of my favorite dies that I've ever designed for Simon. It's so intricate, and when I designed it, I was really skeptical. I didn't know if they would actually be able to make it because it's so intricate, but I love it. So you just saw me put down my metal adapter plate, a clear plate, white cardstock, the die, and then a clear plate. When you're using the metal adapter plate, make sure you put it outside of the sandwich. You don't want the die actually touching the metal adapter plate. The metal adapter plate is really just a metal shim that's going to give a little bit more tightness to your die cutting sandwich and make sure that it cuts out these little tiny intricate dies. So I'm punching out those little areas with my craft pick from Tim Holtz just to make sure I get all those little areas out. And now I'm using that same white paper that I cut out, I'm using that as kind of a backdrop while I apply some Versamark ink to the snowflake. And then I'm going to hold the snowflake with my tweezers and kind of sprinkle on the gold embossing powder. This is going to make it look like the entire snowflake is gold. Now we're going to see the back, so we know that it's white on the other side, but no one's seeing the card, all the finish, is even going to know that this snowflake wasn't cut out of a gold metallic paper. It's really kind of cool. And I do kind of prefer embossing with gold embossing powder on dies like this as opposed to actually cutting with gold paper because it has a really smooth rounded edge on all of it. So now I'm using the Holiday Hello stamp set from Simon Says Stamp, and I'm going to be embossing in gold, so I'm going to go ahead and put that powder down. You'll notice it leaves a little bit of a ghost of the powder, but it does wipe off in the end, so I'm not too worried. And I'm stamping the Season's Greetings sentiment kind of near the bottom of the card. And I'll just go ahead and stamp that down. I'm using Versamark ink because I'm going to, like I said, I'm going to be embossing. And then I'll sprinkle on that gold embossing powder and heat set it. I did want to mention that one of the reasons why this video is going up a day late is because I've been prepping for a new online class over at onlinecardclasses.com. Our new class is called Stenciled, which is appropriate since I used a stencil today. And it's a mini 4-day class. It's only $12. Super, super inexpensive, especially if you want to sort of buy yourself a little holiday gift. Buy yourself registration in that class. It's kind of a fun class. So I hope you guys will go check that out. I'm team teaching it with a bunch of awesome crafters. And go ahead and click that link up at the top corner if you want to hear more info about that class. So I just dabbed on a little bit of glue on the back of the snowflake. I'm using Tombow Mono Multi Glue. And even though I put a lot of glue down, it wasn't quite holding down. So I ended up putting my whole hand over that snowflake and just kind of holding it down for about 30 seconds, maybe not even that long, just to be sure that it glued down. Folded the card in half and used my bone folder to really crease down that fold. And that is the card for today. Super simple and easy, but I love that it's so classic. And thanks for watching. Thanks for watching until the very end of the video, you guys. I'm so grateful that you guys stick around all the way to the very end. And if you did stay to the very end, leave me a comment down below. It'll be like a secret code, like the eagle has landed. Type in the eagle as has landed if you stayed to the very end of the video, and no one will even know what we're talking about. So here are 3 more videos for you guys to check out. They're from the 3 previous years of the Holiday Card Series. If you loved this video, give it a big thumbs up. You can also subscribe in the top corner. You can visit my blog at KWinterDesign.com, and you can follow me on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, and Pinterest. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll catch you next time.